Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren Perlingia, and today's episode is for all of you human design lovers. I've been listening to you, and I'm bringing more guests on that are also human design teachers, human design lovers, and especially people that focus on business. So I have Donna. Welcome so much. So happy to have you here with us this afternoon. I'm like this morning. It's not in the morning. It's the afternoon.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. So, can you kind of start from, I would love to hear from like the beginning. Like, can you kind of share like what drew you into human design and like maybe like what was happening in your life or like work at the time that, human design landed so deeply for you?
Yeah. So I think I found human design maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. It's been a while. And I first learned it, it was one of those like kismet things, like you're driving in the car and all of a sudden somebody mentions it on a podcast. So you click the link and then you're like, you enter this zone that you didn't know existed and your entire life is changed. This is basically like that. And I was doing life coaching, spiritual, intuitive coaching, things like that at the time. So I was really excited to integrate that into my business. So I started learning human design, gene keys. Fast forward a few years, right around COVID, I had just gotten divorced. COVID happened, which was a
Right.
mind fuck. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of lost myself. I lost myself through the divorce, through having two kids. I didn't know where I was going, what I wanted to do. Everything just kind of felt hard. And I loved human design. I was already using it, but something felt missing. And that was mostly because I have very little memory of my childhood. So 30 plus years, I did not remember. So any therapist, any psychologist you go to, they're always like, well, what happened in your childhood or what happened here? And I was like, oh, what if I don't know? And can human design help me have that transformation through trauma, through nervous system regulation, if I don't know my past? So I started to explore human design on a different level, on like a shadow level and like I don't know what experiences I've had, but I know that this is how I react, or I know that this is my behavior. So, where can I find that in my chart, and how can I heal it through my chart? So, it's like deconditioning our open centers or our openness. But then I also found that the shadow aspects of our definition play an even bigger role sometimes. So, then I took more classes and more courses, and now I needed to know the psychology behind it. And that was kind of hard to find, honestly. So I just got a ton of source material and did a lot of research, classic 1-3, tested it out. For years, I was doing just shadow readings. And then I just developed my own system to help other people learn the psychology of human design and how looking at our chart can help us regulate our nervous system. It can help us with what food we should be eating other than the primary health system, business. Like there's so many like little details in there that if we just evolve the system a little bit to coincide with psychology and what we've learned and the way we've evolved there and science, it just makes so much sense and just opens up a whole new world, if you will.
Yes. Now, can you tell the listeners, how you help people? Like where, obviously I know for me personally, I told you this before, you didn't know this before we started recording, or before we got on, but that's when I originally found you, like I've always looked at human design as from that shadow part of like, because I have had a lot of trauma, and I know people listening also have had a lot of trauma. So they've always tried to figure out where it's coming from. And I think it's
Yeah.
really interesting that you said that you didn't remember, your childhood because of that trauma or because you
Yeah.
blocked it out and having like human design help you with that.
Yeah. Human design helped me, I guess, accept that I don't need to know, that
Mhm.
there's other cues, clues there that I can use. I don't need to know the exact situation. Because they did have some therapists that are like, well, could it, I did the EMDR, I did all the things, hypnotherapy, I did everything. But at some point I was like, I feel like I'm starting to make up memories. Like, did this actually even happen? I don't know. There's got to be a better way. So, yes, it definitely helped me work through trauma for sure.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to answer your question, how I help people. So from there, I created, well, actually, I was asked to create classic manifesting generator. I responded. Somebody asked me to teach them how to read a shadow chart, like how to read the chart from a shadow perspective. So at first I said no. I was like, I don't even know where to begin with that. And then finally it was a yes. So I created the human design shadow training, which we had about 8 rounds, I believe, live rounds, and it just got better and better after every round. I think it was probably close to 100 people. Now it's a self-paced course called Advanced Psychology of Human Design, but it's basically everything they don't teach you about human design and psychology, and how to read somebody's chart from a shadow perspective and actually help them heal trauma. And, I wish they taught this at like regular human design schools. It's just so powerful.
Yeah. Now, did you become a certified reader
No.
through all of this? No.
Oh,
Okay.
no. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know you don't either, but like, I think that what that does is it makes you a parrot. It makes you a robot. Like, I've had so many readings where people are just like reading off of like in their book or whatever because they're certified. So they get to charge you however much they want.
Right.
Like, I'd rather learn it on my own. And I did take, I guess technically I'm certified. I did take like a year-long course, but it wasn't through IHDS or any of like the main schools.
Yeah.
But I took it and I did my own research and then also my experience. I'm classic 1-3.
Yeah. I
But
was
I
going to say
don't
your classic 1-3 profile.
totally. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not into the whole certified thing, especially, having the undefined crown and ajna. Like, that PhD school life, like I could learn and research forever, but never take action.
Right.
I
Yeah.
have to stop myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely understand. So when it comes to like people understanding their human design, like intellectually, like, but they still feel like stuck financially, I've noticed this. I feel like for me and, being the projector that I'm what am I? I'm a six. I'm like, what am I? I'm a 6-2 emotional projector. What I noticed is, and with my open root and my sacral, I noticed that like urgency that this industry has. I'm like, what is the urgency for? It's like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for like seeing what everybody else is not seeing,
Yeah.
like working smarter, not harder. And I feel like this question has been coming up in my mind. So I'm like, I'm going to ask you this question to see what your perspective is. But most people intellectually want to understand human design, but they still feel stuck financially
Yeah.
because you have the income that you created, which I want you to talk about, the human design income system. But they, like, from your perspective, what usually happens beneath the surface when the income doesn't match somebody's potential?
Yes, this is a great question. And I think one of the main problems is that, I mean, I guess there's a few. Human design can be very overwhelming. The rabbit hole is very, 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 very deep, very, very deep. And I think a lot of us get very distracted by information. We want to collect all of the information. So people will collect and collect and collect and, oh, this is cool. Oh, I didn't know this about me. Oh, this is fun. Oh, this is nice, but none of it actually helps them take action on something. It's not a very clear system like A, B, C, D. You want to make money from your body graph. Here's where to focus first. And don't go over here because that doesn't matter right now. So I think that many human designers, myself included, we love information. We love the nuances. We love knowing the things that nobody tells you. And I've got a gazillion of those that we can distract ourselves with forever. But if you
Right.
really want to make money, you have to focus. And it's not about urgency, but there is a fine line between waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for things to be perfect, waiting to receive the invitation, but it's already come. Or maybe you're not around the correct people to receive the correct invitation. So there's a lot of little nuances with strategy and authority specifically that I think people get stuck in. Whereas if they would just focus a little bit differently and very like committed to focusing on this thing, don't let your mind go over here, over there. It would make a lot more money from their body graph.
Yeah. And I love that you said about focus because I've started to know, like myself included, I started to notice that I was, being a projector, waiting for the invitation. I've started to, that was what I was like for the longest time. I've started to tell myself, like, oh, I have to, this is not my invitation. And I'm like, but these are my people in my network. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
an invitation to showcase my, like, say what, like, random
Right.
stuff that I have, random things, random insights. And I think other projectors too, they, that they're, I guess they probably took on that same belief. And I'm like, no, just share. Like you have an insight, you want to say something, you want to ramble on or whatever, like make a video, say it. And, they actually listen and they're like, that was my biggest video, or that was like the most engagement. I'm like, do you see why? Because it's your insight that you can see. And like before human design, I used to be like, oh, don't you see this? Like before I learned human design, I guess it's been
Mhm.
I was introduced to human design like 10 years ago, and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh, I wasn't really willing to accept the fact that I'm like, shit, I need this. So, like 7 years
Yeah.
ago, then I started self-teaching myself like all that, like, oh, okay. Like my life makes sense. It's just, duh. And then I was, no wonder nobody can see what I can see because I think everybody can see what I can see. So it's like, oh,
Right.
can't you see that? And they're like, what? you know? So it's like, it's interesting to be able to have an insight or any other, a manifester or a manifesting generator. It's like they're having them around me. I've noticed it pushes me more into action of like, what action are you doing when I forget the
Yeah.
action piece?
Yeah. And, it's a double-edged sword. Like projectors forget to take action and generators forget to be still. Like
Yeah.
I can get very caught up in the doing, and I forget, like, oh, wait a minute. I created a business where it gets to be simple and I get to relax and chill. I don't need to be a projector to relax. I can relax.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, projectors, I have so many in my community right now, like a ridiculous amount. I should take a poll because it's got to be more than generators. And they have a really hard time taking action because they're waiting for this like perfect invitation. Where
Yeah.
it's like if you have one person following you on Instagram, that's an invitation. They've invited you to share. That's
Right.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely can resonate with that too, because I have a decent, like a lot of people listen to the podcast or in a decent amount of people on social media. And it was like I was trying to go do all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. Just pause, Lauren. Like
Yeah.
you need to speak to but I think it was more of like frequency too, of like you're speaking to people that can't hear you and
Yeah.
it's not landing. And I think that that is another. Maybe it's a shadow part of my chart. Maybe, like maybe it's something that like I'm trying to get, it's kind of like when you scream, I love these people. I'm trying to like, I don't love these people, but like these people that say, oh, these affirmations, you just have to, keep saying them to
Yeah.
yourself. I'm like, they don't fucking work if you're screaming them at the mirror and your body is like, bitch, you're lying.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that human design has really helped with that too. So can
Yeah.
you
For
kind of go
sure.
into what you talked a little bit about earlier, but the income system, the human
Yeah.
design income system and like how you created it? Is it a blend of the shadow and psychology part altogether, or is it completely two separate things? Like what if somebody was like listening to this, like, okay, I need to do her shadow chart, or I need to I need to make more money in my business. Like, what would you kind of recommend?
So if you're a human design coach, I would highly recommend the Advanced Psychology of Human Design because that's going to teach you how to read a chart like you have never read a chart before in your life. It will teach you all these crazy cool shortcuts, all the nuances. Like there's just so much information in that program, like format energy, circuitry, like so many things that is not mainstream human design that people don't really talk about. And you have to spend $8,000 to get to it in IHDS or Jovian
Right.
Archive or whatever. So I would highly recommend that if you're a coach. But if you just love human design and you want to create a digital product that's going to support your lifestyle, whatever that is, I just think everyone should have digital products. Then income system teaches you how to do that. And basically, so have you heard of BG5? BG5 is
Mhm.
like the business version of human design,
Yeah.
which I personally think is a money making scheme.
Yeah.
Just to say it
I thought when
plainly.
I, yeah, when I heard about that for the first time, I was like, oh, what is this scam?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, stop,
Yeah.
stop. Um, but I think that way about a lot of. So, actually, can I go off on a tangent real quick?
Of course. You can say
um,
and do whatever you want to do.
Thank you. So, I have like I'm not saying I dislike the analysts or IHDS. Like, I think that stuff is powerful, but I think that they have sort of like used and abused their power. So when I was doing research for the Advanced Psychology of Human Design, I started looking into Rave Anatomy, which is basically like the actual food that you should be eating and how it affects your brain based on your format energy. So I found information from this doctor in Germany named Martin Grassinger. And I reached out to him and I was like, would love to talk to you about this. All of your information is in German. Like, help a sister out.
Yeah.
And he was basically like, I work directly with Ra and we created this system and it's mine that I sell on this website and IHDS basically steals it from me, or Jovian Archive, one of them. He's like, they still sell it even though I have told them they're not allowed to. Like, this is my material. So after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe they're not all they're cracked up. That's just so shady.
Yeah.
So anyway, him and I had a conversation, and all of that stuff is in my program too, but with his approval, obviously.
Right.
But going back to the human design income system, that's why like everything I learned from human design, I'm like, yes, and like let me put it through my own filter and see if it actually makes sense. See if it actually works. Let me test it. Let me see how we can evolve it this way or that way, because Ron never talked about nervous system regulation. And that is huge. Like, it's hard to follow strategy and authority if your nervous system is not regulated, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust your body. So I confused myself about where I was going. Human design income system will
Yeah.
teach you how to build a digital product, but it focuses on just a few main things that I did use some of the information from BG5, the information that made sense to me. Like, your undefined centers are your profit centers. They are where you make money because you're so wise on this energy and all of the different frequencies of this energy that it just makes sense that you attract these people. Also, the not self is what creates, supposedly, according to Ra, if we were all in our true self, we wouldn't be worried about money. We wouldn't need money. So the not self is what markets to the other not self. So I use the undefined centers to help you find your messaging and your niche. I use your profile for your business role. So what I found is that a lot of people get stuck in coaching when coaching is not correct for them. And I was one of those people. I'm like, I'm a coach. I'm a coach. Coaching is great. But secretly, I hated it and it just burned me out.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I started doing more research around my business role, I was like, you know what? As a 1-3, I am not a coach. I am a teacher. I am a guide. I am a creative, a researcher, blah, blah, blah. I am not a coach. So that was just that shift in perspective kind of shifted my entire business and a much better place. Like, I'm truly happy. um, So we use the profile, we use the undefined centers, and then we use something called the quadfecta. So the quadfecta was something that I created inside the advanced psychology of human design, sort of live with a class that I had. Like we talked about how powerful your unconscious Mars is and both of your Plutos because they lead to your greatest life transformation. And then we added the conscious sun because that's 70% of your personality essentially. So
Right.
those four gates together created like an incarnation cross on crack that made sense, that actually gave you a roadmap. So those four planets, those four gates, I show you how those are your greatest strengths and how to create a digital product or offer. You could do a live offer based off of those four things. And it's remarkably accurate. Um, and then inside the HDIS, like the Human Design Income System, obviously I teach you how to put all of this stuff together, but we also have like a ChatGPT prompt where you just put it all in the system and let him do it for you. And then we refine it. We have a Telegram group where we refine it. And it's been pretty successful. I think there's over 500 people in there, 200 and some in the Telegram group. And, I've had projectors in there that are doing fantastic. It's just hopefully giving people a more focused way of looking at the body graph. Like you don't need to know everything. You don't need
Right.
to get stuck in overwhelm. Like I will walk you through every step of the way.
Yeah, I love that. I think I just, there was like, if I can count on my hands, toes, I'm like, people are like, I feel like I have to do everything. And I'm like, oh my
Yes.
God, you do not need to know everything. Like,
Mhm.
this is, if I look at, they're like, but you know a lot. And I'm like, I've been doing this for seven
Right.
years. I didn't start yesterday. I mean, I might have started at night, but I didn't start last night.
Right.
I just kept asking myself questions and like Googling stuff and then like learning. And I'm like, oh, this is that. Like a huge thing that I love is what is that app called? There's an app. Is it starts with an N? I forget. It's you can download it on Apple.
Is it neutrino?
I think it's Neutrino. Yeah, Neutrino. So I had got that app for, a couple years and I started to kind of use that and teach myself the biggest thing is the genetic trauma. I feel like when I started like speaking from that place and showing other people that I realized and then somebody had said to me last year because I think I like through this last couple years I was like what do I do? Like who am I and how do I help people? Because I would listen and ask people, but then I'm like, but I don't know, how do I articulate it? And I started to notice
Yeah.
that I've always looked at people's trauma and figured out how they can decondition it from their human design. But to put
Yeah.
that in words, people are like, what's human design?
I know.
And I'm
I
like,
know.
it's just a system, a blueprint. Like, I feel like I change my words all the time. And then, this genetic trauma came up. And then I'm like, this is literally everybody's deepest wound. Like
Yeah.
you operate
Yeah.
out of that wound all the time. I mean, me
You're talking
included.
about the
Yeah.
unconscious Mars.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
huge.
That's the unconscious Mars. Yeah. So when you had said that, I was like, oh, like I've always followed, um, my Plutos and I've always followed my sun. And then I've just recently, the last couple years, had always I look at everybody's unconscious Mars and
Yeah.
realizing that's where the genetic trauma comes from. That is literally the reason why they're constantly stuck in their business. It was the reason why I was constantly stuck. Like I'm like, okay, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not making any money. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And I'm noticing that like mine's rejection. So it's like, oh, that's coming up a lot,
Yeah.
like in different aspects. So that's very interesting that, you put that in a way that it's like actually making, you know, sense to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating how like, so again, mine is compromised. I have gate 14. So when I first started studying it, I was like, well, I don't know where I've compromised. Like, I can't remember the first 30 years of my life. So, like,
Right.
I don't know. So I looked at it more as like behaviors. How am I behaving this way
Right.
now? And then let me backtrack it and let me change it and see what happens in my body. And let me see what changes when I do this or I do that. Like we started looking at your conscious moon as a trauma response, like the actual behavior trauma response. So mine was flight. And that is my biggest issue in life is, I'm a little not flighty, but like I used to run away from conflict, also undefined solar plexus. So it started to all just like all the dots started to connect. And I'm like, oh my God, this is literally a storyline of my trauma. And it doesn't matter what the situations are. This is like the theme of it, of everything that's happening.
Right. Now, I was like, wow. Okay. So then here's me like, oh, now I gotta go look at my unconscious, moon. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
that might actually give me a huge, like, aha moment for that. And I do love that you do break this up into your content too. It's like you speak the things that people don't want to speak, and this is what it is, and this is like I should say there's no fabricated bullshit that
There's
I
not.
starting to see more and more of. And when I ask people or I talk to people about like human design or like, what they know about it, I'm like realizing that I'm like, are you just regurgitating the human
Yes.
design book? Like, and I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
gosh, I really wish I could teach you what I know about like looking at a chart because like it's very mind blowing to these people that I've noticed. And I'm not like shit talking these people that have
No,
certifications,
of course not.
not any of that, but I've noticed that I could go buy the book on Amazon. I have the book, but
Yeah.
and then I could just read the same thing out of the book, or they're using ChatGPT, which I'm like, you got to be careful.
Oh my God. ChatGPT is always wrong when it comes to human design.
I was a
Always.
manifesting generator. I think I was a 1-3 manifesting generator. I'm like, seriously? I just gave you my chart.
Right. No, you can't. So we found this problem when I was doing the ChatGPT prompt for the human design income system. Like
Yeah.
I tested it a million times, had some of the girls test it. Like it
Mhm.
just cannot read a chart. And it told me, I cannot read your chart. So
Yeah.
you have to be very specific. And some of the girls are like, even when we're specific, it still doesn't get it right. So you really have to keep an eye on that.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Because people are like, oh yeah, I would just put my chart in ChatGPT. I'm like, please stop doing that. It's
I
giving
know.
you wrong
A
information.
hundred percent.
Like your 6'2" profile is a role model hermit. It isn't
Yeah,
whatever the hell it's saying. Like
I know. I'm like, where are you getting this information from, Chad?
some every single possible random website that human design shares,
Yes.
probably. Yeah.
And also it said it makes it up.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Mine's
in
never
my
told me that, but it's told me I can't read your chart. And I was like, I'm okay. So I'm giving out different, because like just different things. And I'm like, okay, so what is this? What is this like gene key or
yeah,
like what is this astrology transit or like this or that? And it's more reliable, I think, for transits for
okay.
astrology, I've noticed.
Okay.
Because I feel like I came from obsessed, like I was obsessed with astrology. Like I used to do charts when I was younger, like just drawing
Oh,
them.
that's
I didn't
cool.
realize, like, I didn't realize like what I was drawing, but I always, it was
Yeah.
very fascinating to like connect different stuff and realizing, oh shit, I've always known how to read an astrology chart. Because like if you look at astrology chart, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, how do
Right.
you read
I know,
this?
I know. It's so complicated.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where I came from. So it was really easy for me to kind of teach myself how to understand um like human design. And then I realized that Gene Keys is like the quickest, most easy way to get from low vibration or
Uh-huh.
like that lower vibration to like your gift and to your higher vibration. So I was like,
Yeah.
I've spent 2 years of trying to do, I'm like, why didn't I just
Yeah.
do Gene Keys? Like, why did I decide to do human design first? But it was kind of like,
I mean, human design is the foundation for gene keys.
right.
But
Yeah.
they don't talk about that's another thing that they don't talk about enough in human design is that the gates have frequencies. Like it's not just this gate means this. Like there's a frequency to it, and that frequency is more than just the shadow, the gift, the city, right? There's like in betweens also, but those are great points on the like a graph if you were going to make a graph of it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's definitely something we talk about a lot too.
Yeah. So I was going to kind of talk a little, like, I was going to ask you a little bit more about the psychology, like when you blend the psychology with human design, because I think nervous system regulation right now, I think everybody's talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important. And to be honest, I have to say, now that I do all of it together, I'm like, if I only knew that I needed to regulate my nervous system
Yeah.
about 4 years ago, I think I probably would have been on a different path, which is here nor there. But I'm just saying, like that traditional like mindset work or like strategy work of like falling too short without like your nervous system. Like, where do you see that in the work that you do?
So I look at it mostly in format energy, and
Okay.
format energy is not talked about enough. That is the connection between the sacral and the root. So you don't have any format energy because you don't have either one of those centers defined. Do you have any hanging gates?
I believe so.
Okay. So we can use hanging
Yeah.
gates, but mostly what we found with people that don't have any format energy is that they are more susceptible to the trauma responses of the people around them, almost like
Okay.
you amplify them. So think about like amplifying in like the solar plexus or the ajna or even the root, amplifying stress and pressure from other people. It sort of is the same for nervous system regulation. So if you live in a house where everybody is dysregulated, you're going to amplify that. But if you then go and sit somewhere where the adults, as a child, where the adults are very regulated, you're going to feel that on a different level than like me, who has format energy. So I
Oh,
look at
okay. That makes
like
sense. Yeah.
format energy or connections from the root to the spleen is more going to be like a physical activity. Like you're more regulated by movement. So walking meditations or just walking in general, making that a daily habit has done wonders for me. Like I have the 2838. Like you need to be giving your body something to struggle with or else your mind will struggle. Um,
Yeah.
Connections from the root to the emotional solar plexus. This is people a lot of times that have food issues. And this can be a little bit more creative. It's a little bit more emotional. It's a little bit more sitting with your feelings. Now, I don't have a defined solar plexus. So, for somebody who does nervous system regulation to tell me sit with my feelings, that can be very dangerous for me because I could be sitting with somebody else's feelings for a very long time.
Right.
So there's different ways to look at it in terms of nervous system regulation, depending on what you have defined. Like I will never tell someone with an undefined solar plexus, figure out what you're feeling and sit with it and, whatever, because it could not be what you're feeling. I would tell them, go outside and release the energy and what you still have. Let's talk about that, right? Like that, let's work through that if it makes sense. And if it connects some of the other dots of the body graph.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, especially because people with an emotional authority have an emotional authority. So
Mhm.
it's like somebody that doesn't have an emotional authority, it's like telling them how to like how do you how does that work for you? Like, because it's like I your what you just said to like sitting with somebody else's emotions. And that could be very dangerous for
Yeah.
if you don't know like how it all works. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, I have three hanging gates on my root and one on my sacral. So
Okay.
the hanging gates are 38, 58, 41 on my root, and then 59 on my sacral.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's format energy. Like we talked about focus before.
Yeah.
Did you say 52?
50, no, 58. 38, 58,
Oh,
41,
you're talking that way.
59.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Connecting the sacral to the root. Between the sacral and the
Oh,
root.
no, 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 no. No.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
hanging gates on like the outer.
So you're like an amplifier
Yeah.
of essentially somebody else's nervous system.
Yeah.
So somebody else's nervous system affects you more than it would me that I have consistent format energy. Because the format energy is Rod talks about it. Like I should find the page. There's like a paragraph about it, and he says how important it is, but then says nothing more. So I had to do so much research to find this. And Martin Grassinger actually talks about it too, how format energy is connected to your brain and how it affects your entire body, and actually fixes your chart in terms of like not fixes, corrects it, but fixes it like holds it in place, sort of. So if
Yeah.
you are in the not self of your format energy, you're more likely to be in the not self of everything, of your entire chart.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Even like to current day moment of my daughter, she's a generator. She's a pure generator. She's 4/6
Okay.
pure generator. My husband is a 5/1 emotional projector, and
Oh.
there's so much nervous system stuff coming up. Like she's waking up in the middle of the night,
Mhm.
and it's so dysregulating for me that, like, who wants to be woken up, and she's up for two
Right.
hours. So it's like like when I was like, okay, I got to look at our charts because like I know, and then you just said that, and I was like, oh my God, you just like I feel like I have her nervous system sometimes that
Yeah.
or I have my husband's nervous system sometimes of like
Yeah.
how it's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I know it's not my energy, but you just saying that, I was like, oh my God, that's the connection. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's like
everybody,
little things like that.
yeah, I was gonna say like, so, obviously, people need to have their charts, but I think that's a huge thing. And I remember probably years ago reading that paragraph that you're talking about. And now that you're just saying that, I was like, oh my God. It's
Yeah.
true. Like it makes a lot of sense. And it was like the missing piece to why I feel like I have my daughter's nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
know.
So, how do you like help clients discern where, because this is another huge thing that I hear people, and I would love your perspective of, I usually always say like, don't usually worry about, I mean, you can worry about other things in your chart. You shouldn't worry about anything, but like I have to learn all the things. And I always say like understanding like your energy type, your strategy, and your authority is like the foundation, and like nothing else in human design matters because you're not going to understand anything if
Yeah.
like you're basically dysregulated and you're not operating in alignment. So like what would you say like if a client or maybe like a listener is thinking like there's people pleasing in their business or him or her business, proving or like chasing validation through business. Like how do you kind of help your clients discern through all of this when it comes to
Yeah.
following strategy and authority?
So it depends on several things. Like it depends on their chart. People pleasing, I typically see in the undefined ego, the undefined solar plexus. Obviously, there's other places proving the undefined ego for sure. What we tend to do for that is the shadow work, which is usually for undefined egos in business, like 9 times out of 10. It's which parent are you still trying to prove that you're successful to?
Mm,
And that usually gets it. That usually fixes it. Um, and then just making different choices, making different decisions by sort of, I hate to say like upgrading your energy or your identity, but sort of seeing it in a different perspective. Like this isn't true. I don't need to keep doing this. It's not going to make life any easier. The trying to get someone's approval is never going to be what I think it is. So what am I actually going for? What is it that I actually desire from that approval? And then
yeah.
how can we find it in the chart and give it to ourselves? Basically, it's like shadow work.
Yeah. So basically, what I keep hearing you saying is like basically people need to go get your shadow, the shadow chart first, and then the income, like the income. I mean, they can have both, obviously, right? But it's like where,
Yeah.
if it's like brand new, somebody like, I'm not making any money in my business, they've done some trauma work
Mhm.
or, they have made some money or want to create a business. Like, where would you tell them to, like start?
I would say start with the human design income system.
Okay.
Right now it's $47, which is like ridiculously low for the amount of content that's in there.
Yeah.
And you're just going to learn so much about your business, and there's also information about shadows in there. There's also like different links to get other shadow related things. But that's probably the best place to start for business because the psychology of human design, yes, we talk about business, we talk about coaching specifically, but it's more like information. Whereas
Right.
the human design income system, it's like, okay, put the pen to the paper and let's fucking go. Like, let's create something. Our theme is fuck around and find out. Like, let's just do it and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. So now through the income system, do they get to work? Is this all self-paced? Do they get to work one-on-one with you? Do you do one-on-ones? I don't know if you even do
I don't.
one-on-ones.
No,
Okay.
I don't do one-on-ones. Sporadically, I'll open
Yeah.
up a spot, but so it's self-paced.
Okay.
But then we have a Telegram group where you do get to ask me anything, and I will personally answer. We have so far it's been great. Like I know I keep waiting for it to be like way too much, but so far it's been great. And I don't want to get an assistant to manage it because I love like helping people work through things. But yeah, you get to ask me, you get to ask the community. We have 200 and some people in there. And it's been very supportive.
Yeah, that's awesome. That I think that's like that's the what and like other people, is it a community that other people can like help too, like
Yeah.
if they know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
know some people have been like talking on the side or like creating things together and workshopping things. So yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love that's the sense of community that I think we've lost while we're coming back into
Yes.
it. But I think we lost it for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, can you just give one, maybe like one nugget of wisdom or advice for somebody that, somebody that loves human design but feels overwhelmed by all like the rules, the gates, the information, like how it doesn't run, what it turns into this, like something sustainable that they can do like right now, like right after they listen to this episode?
Yeah. So I will say fuck the rules. Take out your chart and look at your unconscious Mars. I think that, we talked about that earlier, is
Yeah.
the most powerful gate, one of the most powerful gates, and look at it in terms of shadow and gift. And where have you been in the shadow and how can you embody more of the gift? I think that's really, really important. Um, I will say for the more advanced human design people, my number one tip would be look at your definition, meaning if you're a single definition, split definition, triple split, or quad split, because that's going to affect where you find your deepest conditioning factors. And that's also something people don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
I think
more advanced.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I had just when I don't know, I was doing a session and all of a sudden I went to definition, the like her definition, and I was like, wait a second. So then I was like talking and connecting all of it, and I was like, wait a second, oh my gosh. And then I think I seen did you just do a YouTube video about that? The definition?
Maybe. I've done a few.
Yeah. because I'm like, maybe you should go listen to that YouTube video too. Because I think I listened to that YouTube video that you
Yeah.
made. Yeah. And you put it in a way that I was like, oh my gosh. Like that's so I went back into my own, is what I'm saying. I went back into my um I'm a split. So
Oh, okay.
vision. So, but my client that she came to me and she was like, so I want something with her kids. And then immediately I heard definition. So then I was like, send me your kids' charts and I'll look at them really quickly. And it was just something like a parenting thing. And I was like, oh, well, one of your kids is triple. So none
Yeah.
of the things connect. So I'm like, you can't just tell them to do something.
Yeah, they don't
It's like, go
care.
put your shoes on. He's
No.
gonna be like, oh, I gotta go get dressed. I have to go do this. My mind is telling me to go do this. I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna go outside. Like that's literally, and she goes, that's him. And I was like, that's him. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's him. So we're not gonna do that, but yeah, no.
Right.
So,
Yeah, like how powerful is that to know? To know
yeah,
like there's
huge.
nothing for you to fix. You don't need
Right.
to fix your child. That is just who they are. You just need to accept them.
Yeah. And I think it was very empowering for like when I was like, I learned something from that of telling her that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, let me go look at my daughter's chart. Well, she's single. So then I was like, oh, okay. Like she's a little bit different than me, but my husband is triple. So it's
Mhm.
like I get why things don't like that does not happen because of that. And I think that same thing with now, do you do relationship charts? I know this is
I
like
don't. I mean, I have. That's all of that information. So I'm working on a website where like all of the classes that I have are there because I did last year, 2 years ago at this point, human design summer school. And every other
Oh,
week we had a different class and we had such a great relationship class. And I want to be able, I have sold it before, but I just need to get it on my website. But all of that is in the advanced psychology also.
Oh, okay,
But
it
yes,
is. Okay.
you have
Yeah,
lots of
I've done here charts here and there, like the relationship ones, but
yeah,
I usually offer it around February. I mean, or the end of
yeah,
January, February, because I mean, everybody always wants to, it's just the energy of it,
yeah,
like, so, and I'm, the way that you look at other things, I was just curious of like how you look at the relationship. Like I think people look at the relationship charts as like compatibility charts. I've
Mhm.
seen like for astrology, and I'm like, I don't me, what I do it like that's not the way I look at them. It's like how
Okay,
can the energy work like together.
yeah.
If it's not working, or like the different themes, like have more fun. Like mine's 8-1 with me and
Hmm.
my like husband, and I'm like, "Yeah, we should have more fun. It's literally like the easiest thing. That's like the easiest advice
Yeah,
ever, and you don't have to know anything else in the chart. So I'm
right.
curious of how
Yeah,
like
I do look at it like compatibility. I also look at it as like this is how you are going to piss him off, and this is how he's going to piss you off.
right,
This is what you guys are most likely to fight about. This is where you agree. This is how to give him more space. This is why you need more space. So, yeah, a little bit compatibility, a lot of it. This is where it can go wrong, but it's mostly like not where this can go wrong. It's like where you might get stuck in marriage advice, but that's not the case for you because you have this in your chart and your husband has this. So, like, don't listen to what everybody's saying on Instagram about dating and relationships because it might not match your chart or his chart.
right. Yeah, I guess I should say I do look at it as a little bit like
Yeah, of
compatibility,
course. I
but
mean, I
more
think it's a
about,
given.
yeah, more about like how the energy works because they're coming to me with this challenge or this problem or this issue or this or that. And most of
Mhm.
the time it's trauma bonds, or most of it's kind of
Right.
he's doing this and he doesn't, that type of thing. And I'm like, well, the way that energy works is if it's not moving or it's not in motion, I can't
Right.
change that. Like I can't
Right.
change any of that for you. However, I can tell you this. So there I have had charts like or have had, and I think I steer away from that or steer away from that a little bit because when I do I'm reading the chart, I'm reading the energy between the two. It's like, no, that's not right. You can't tell me. Like I'm like, okay. It's kind of like
Yeah. Yeah. They
willing
have
to
to be
accept it.
open.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
are you willing to, be open and accepting it or not? So I was just curious. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I the problem? Am I really
No, you're
the
never the problem.
problem? Like, no, never the problem. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Donna,
so
for
welcome. Thank you.
this powerful reminder to myself included that like the alignment in business is not about doing more. It's just about becoming honest with
Yes.
ourselves and letting our
Correct.
design lead. So.
Finding your shadows and healing them. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I've always, I probably identified as like a shadow worker at some point in my
Yeah.
journey, but I realized I've always knew subconsciously, obviously, that the shadow had so much wisdom to show me. And it's not like scary, even though, people are like, I don't look at my shadow. There's a reason.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Right? Yeah. So, if anybody listening to this, if you took anything, hopefully you took a lot of stuff, and hopefully that you feel complete after listening to her like extensive knowledge about human design and how she makes it so literally like any human on planet Earth can understand this.
Thank
All
you.
of
I
her
hope so.
links, yeah, I think you do a really good job of that. So thank you for that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Of
for all the things that you do for the human
course.
design world. Um, so if you want to, I invite you to check out her links. They'll be, if you're watching this over on YouTube, they'll be in the description box and all of her resources. I have her links for the income system as well. That will be below. Go follow her on Instagram. And then go let her know that you listen to her
Yes,
on
please do.
the yes, Enlightened Misfits podcast. And if you're craving ongoing support and community to navigate your path, I also invite you into the Enlightened Misfits Sisterhood, where it's just a space for conscious entrepreneurs, leaders, or seekers who are building lives and business that flourish. They regulate their nervous system and their blueprint. So you'll find all of those links below as well. And make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and share this episode with anybody that you feel that would gain knowledge from listening. Thank you so much for being here again. Thank you for your work as well, Donna, and choosing to move forward of who you truly are. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next week.